Live in a second. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Today I have with me Brandi Oliver, who is actually one of my doula clients, and her newest baby. And today we're going to be talking about her experience doing an unassisted home birth, and kind of how that compares to the other births that she had in the hospital. So welcome, Brandi. Tell us a little
Hey,
bit about yourself.
I am, like she said, I'm Brandi Oliver. I am a mom of six, ranging from 15 down to 2 months. I also do shirts, desserts, and more like custom items and things of that nature. So that's me. I'm down to earth, I'm fun, and I can get missing sometimes. That's all.
Well, welcome and thank you for agreeing to talk to me today. So now, Brandi, you said you are the mother of six. So you've had
Yes,
six different birthing experiences. Tell
yes.
us about the different experiences you've had and kind of how they have been different or some of the things that stood out to you.
Well, different. Each one was like completely different, to be honest. Like with my first child, I was 17. So with that one, I was really scared. I was in labor for 24 hours. I pushed for 12 hours because I was determined for them not to give me a C-section. And by the time, like at the end of that one, they were like, "Oh, you need a blood transfusion," but I refused that because I was like, "No." My second two were like 20 months apart, and but those were a little easier. It was still stressful. They were healthy births though, but I was in the hospital setting. I birthed as long as I could at that time at home because at that time my pain was just definitely something I was not. That was my main focus. So because my pain was my main focus, that's what I felt more of. And I was like, oh, I got to get to the hospital and let me get some medicine. Like that's how I was. With my son, I was induced, my fourth, I was induced due to chronic migraines at the end of the pregnancy. I still labored for about 12 hours, even with the Pitocin that they gave me. And with Scion, which I had the joy of having you as my doula, it definitely didn't go as planned. I was still hooked up to machines, and there was a concern about blood pressure. I wasn't really able to do what I wanted to do, but you made it so much easier and so more calm experience for me, to be honest, and just giving me the tips of using my essential oils and things of that nature. And with this one was from the beginning I wanted to do a home birth because I didn't get to experience it, and to be honest, who knows what God's plan is, but mine is not to have any more. Okay. But so I said, why not just do what I want to do? In the beginning, I was told, oh, blood pressure, and because I had six kids, now they're looking at me for gestational diabetes, and because I was African American, and they said the more children you have, the more issues you have, and I wasn't feeling that because you have been working with me with my prior pregnancy of eating healthier and taking this out of my diet, even though I still had issues with potatoes, things of that nature. You were definitely trying to help me with my diet. So this time I really honed in on my diet and made sure that okay, I could have this, but if I had this today, then I couldn't have it this this time. And it seemed that when I was doing that, my doctors made it seem like my health was getting worse. And I was like, well, I'm doing better in these particular areas, so I'm not understanding. Maybe it's a body reaction or something of that nature. So when I would go to the doctors, my blood pressure would be like through the roof, and probably because that doctor anxiety, right? And I would get home and I'm like, well, that's crazy because my blood pressure is nowhere near what it was when I was at the doctor's office. So, and it happened each and every time. So honestly, around 17 weeks, I fired my doctor. I stopped going. Not saying that's for everybody. It was definitely a spiritual decision. I trusted God in everything that I did through this pregnancy. I didn't find out what I was having. So that was one of the most exciting things because, that took away some of my stresses too. Because you know how we are, we think we have to go out and purchase everything. And I just waited. So I went into labor, honestly, with her around 38 weeks, 38 weeks and 6 days. So I was right there at the normal time frame that people have their children. And I went into labor like 1:30 in the morning. The day before I had a whole bunch of irregular contractions. My street is pretty long by my house. So I walked up and I walked back down and that was all I needed. So at 1:30 I went into labor. So I got up, I had a pool in my living room and I filled the pool with water. It was me and my 15-year-old because she wanted to be a part of that experience, and I wanted my family to be a part of the experience. So we got everything set up. I was on my birthing ball, and I would hop in and out the pool. Um, I didn't have a doula like you said it was, or a midwife because it wasn't assisted, and I birthed for what 4.5 hours. I birthed for 4.5, labor for 4.5 hours rather, and at 6:58 the next morning she was there. It was like really one of the most peaceful experiences, to be honest, that I was able to deal with because I wasn't stressed. No one was coming to check me every 10 minutes, it seemed like, or they weren't, the blood pressure cuff wasn't going off. I was able to be in my peace place with my oils and things of that nature. So and here she is.
Well, that's so wonderful because a little bit of backstory. When we were doing your last birth, we had all of these plans. Like we wanted to have this not home birth, a water birth. We
Right.
wanted it to be relaxing and soothing and all these things. And as soon as you got to the hospital, you called me because you were like, I don't know what they're doing. This is not going well. And I get there and we're like, do we have any options? No. Can we try it? No. So everything was just, very, very much all about what the doctor was saying. We weren't given a lot of options. It just completely spiraled into something that you didn't want. And I remember you saying at the beginning of this pregnancy, I want to be able to do this water birth. And we went on this journey trying to find a midwife so that we could do the home birth. And things just didn't seem to be working out. And so you made the decision that you made. And I'm glad that it turned out well for you because, like I said before, it wasn't working out. It wasn't happening. And it seemed like this was just what you needed to do. And it was great because, we know we're in the middle of COVID right now. So
Right.
trying to give birth at a hospital while you are in the middle of a pandemic,
Right.
I'm sure was very nerve-wracking for you. So when you were birthing with your 15-year-old daughter, what was that experience like for you to be able to do it on your own? Like, did you feel like you could do it? Were you unsure? Kind of what were you thinking?
I think like a couple days before, before I went into labor, I had just thought like, okay, maybe I should go to the hospital because, they were telling me this and that. Like it was a place of doubt. Okay, for just a moment. Then I had to like, hold on, Brandi, no, like, when God gives me something to do, and something that he gives me the desires of my heart. If this is what I wanted to do, I knew that he was going to walk me through it. Like no matter what the outcome would be, would have been a part of my story. That's how I always looked at it. So then when the moment came, I felt like maybe I'm going to overwhelm my 15-year-old daughter. I mean, she's 15. She knows nothing. Okay. Nothing about how to birth, nothing how to do. So I made it happen for me to, I didn't do a lot of screaming. I didn't do a lot of yelling. That was one of the things that really shocked me because I was like, because people are like, I don't want to feel that pain. But I was able to calmly speak to her through the contractions and let her know, hey, this is where my pain is. And what she's going to be a doula. she's going to be a midwife. Because all the laws are going to change. She's going to be a midwife. That's what she's going to be. Okay. But I was able to tell her where my pain was. And those were the areas that she focused on when I was laboring, to massage me and to make sure that I was comfortable. And, I was talking to myself in the water because, I'm looking at myself in the water like, okay, you have this. So it was amazing to be able to work with my daughter and to let her have an experience that has led her to say that she wants to do the same thing. So eventually,
Wow, I think that's beautiful. Like that she was able to be there with you and experience that. Like how many 15-year-olds can say,
right.
"Oh, I can deliver my baby sister." Like that is so.
Right.
And then so, this is something that I want to do. So you were not only able to do something powerful and beautiful for you, but you were able to change the way that I'm sure she looks at birth, and just being able to see you in a different light. I'm sure for her, she now thinks that, wow, my mom can do anything,
Right.
and I can do anything because we were able to do that together. Oh, so
Right.
that is just wonderful. Now, what was your postpartum period like this time versus, before?
Honestly, my postpartum period was way easier. Like and that's what I was thinking. I was going to bleed a lot more and things of that nature, but I literally went 4 days of postpartum bleeding, um, healing like that. On that fourth day, I felt like I was back to me, because I didn't have those stresses. And stress and things play a lot to how you heal, because I was able to immediately go into bed because we did a Lotus Birth, so I didn't have to do any like of the cutting of the cord or anything. So I had her and we went and laid down and we were able to breastfeed immediately and things of that nature. So it was much easier. And the first, people are like, "Oh, this is the first week. You should be sleeping. You should be laying down." And I did that, but then I have to remember that I have 5 other kids that need me too. So it's just I was able to balance more. For my other pregnancies, I felt, or my other postpartum experiences, I felt that I I needed way more time to heal, just because I guess you think about it. Somebody's coming to bother you every 2 hours or every hour. I need to do this. I need to prick this. I need to check your blood pressure. I need to check the baby. I need to take the baby. And we didn't have that. So it just made it a much more calmer experience.
Wow. So it was just being in your own element made you feel a
Yeah.
whole lot more calm, and you didn't have to worry about the blood pressure machine going off or somebody asking, "Oh, can we look at the baby? Can we do this? Can we do that?"
Right.
So that's really awesome. Now, as far as delivering like the placenta and all of that, were you kind of scared having to do that yourself, or were you just
Yeah.
this is something I have
When it happened, like I think I delivered about 10 minutes after I had my placenta, which was pretty fast, in my opinion, I guess. And it was just like I was scared because I was like, okay, what if I find chunks missing and things of that nature? I'm still gonna have to go to the hospital, and it would have defeated the purpose. That's really where it went. But once I delivered the placenta and everything, I was able to check it, and everything was completely fine. So it was like a sigh of relief, like a that everything went as planned and everything was perfect in my opinion.
That's awesome. What kind of research did you do before your home birth? So I know you had a Lotus birth, so that's like a totally different thing.
Right.
You have to research, and we can talk about that too. But what did you do to prepare for your home birth?
Well, I was in some unassisted groups, so I
Mhm.
used those. I used the information that they provided to do my own research. So I looked and said, what do I need for a Lotus birth? I mean, a home birth that I wouldn't need for, going to the hospital. And honestly, it was people had these lists that were long, okay, long. I didn't use half of it because I was like, I'm not buying all of that. I don't need that. I don't need it at the hospital. So why would I need it here?
Yeah.
So I did research on, you know, um, the heart rate or feeling where the baby is. I didn't even keep up with her heart rate, to be honest. I didn't really want to focus on that at all. So I just had to make sure that she was in position so I would know what position I needed to labor in to make it better for her to get out. And luckily she was head down the right way.
Mhm.
I didn't think I was going to have a problem with that, but you never know. Kids do their own things, and that nature. So it was just honestly a lot of reading and researching and listening to other people's stories and watching videos, which is pretty cool, of how other people labored. I did research, like you said, the Lotus Birth to see whether benefits, whether not benefits, and honestly, it's still like a up in the air thing of if it does benefit you or anything. But I just decided to go with the Lotus Birth. It was cool watching her tree of life, like a lot of people will call it, to basically come off in 3 days versus a lot of times when you go to the hospital it comes off maybe a week or so. It takes a little bit longer, and in 3 days she was able to detach from her placenta and be perfectly fine. So it was just a lot of research of what I felt nervous about. What if the baby's not breathing? So I had that and things of that nature. So it wasn't really a lot I researched, but it was just the breathing part was really where it was. What if she comes out and she's not breathing or something? That was really the one thing that I researched the most,
Mhm.
and I didn't even have to deal with it. So
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, can you tell us about the Lotus Birth? So, with the Lotus Birth, you leave the placenta attached to the baby and you do not cut the cord like they do in the hospital. Now,
nope.
you have to do separate things to make sure that it's okay and all of that. So, how did it work for you? Did you get all of the salts and the different things that they tell you that
Yeah.
you need?
And I think that's really what helped the placenta dry up as quickly. So what I did, I took it, checked it first, cleaned it all off. Then I salted it and I put herbs of lavender. I can't even remember all the herbs I put on it, but I put herbs and I changed it every day until that third day till it fell off. Just so you wouldn't have that smell. And I bought a lotus bag from a good friend's friend
Mhm.
that she delivered. That was sunflowers. That was really cute because it was like a neutral bag, and that's really all you had to do was wash it and clean it once a day,
Mhm.
and replace the salt and the herbs. So that
Awesome.
was
That's very, very good, and it sounds really cool. Now with the Lotus Birth, the baby gets all of the blood out of the cord versus, them cutting it and there being blood left in the cord. Have you
right.
noticed a difference as far as her and her health and, kind of how she responded after birth versus your other children?
Yeah, she was really bright eyed like 10 hours later. I think I sent you that picture, and I'm like, she's
Mhm.
like looking at me like, hey. She's really smart. She listens really well. Um, she lifted her head up maybe 2 weeks ago, and she rolled over about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago as well. So, um, I'm not trying, I'm not one of those to say, oh, this is better than anything. But my experience has been that it's done. She's done well. She eats well. She's healthy. She's alert. She smiles a lot. I know all babies do that, but I feel like she really smiles all the time. So
Mhm.
I think it was a good experience for her to have everything that she deserved, that she had been hard for, is basically keeping for herself. So
Awesome. Now, if you had one piece of advice for somebody that was thinking about doing a home birth, what would you say?
I wanted to say do it, but be smart about be smart about doing it, and just know that you have to you have to know your body, and don't let anybody talk you out of it. Because I had a lot of people who said, "Are you sure you want to do this? I don't think you should do this." And when I made my mind up that I wasn't going to listen to everybody else and I was going to listen to me and my body, that's what's happening. You have to trust yourself and your judgment for your situation, no matter what, to the long run. Because I made that decision so early. So, for weeks and for months, I was hearing, like, no, don't do that. Are you sure you want to do that? Look into this, look into that, which I was completely fine with, because it just showed that those people cared about me and they wanted to make sure that I made the best decision for me and my family. So, honestly, I guess it is just do it, but make sure you do it strategically and you trust your instinct. And if anytime you begin to have serious doubt where you aren't able to shake it, then make sure that you have a plan B as well.
Awesome. That is such good advice. Just, really doing your research. And I will say you did so much research and you tried your best to make sure that you were educated. You made sure that your diet was good. Like, you were on it. And we started at the beginning of this pregnancy, making sure that you were prepared so that when you got to the end, you would be good. This wasn't just something she did one day and just decided to do. She started at the very beginning of her pregnancy. So if you're going to do it, make sure you do it.
Pretty much. Right. Pretty much.
Yes. Now, so when she was born, did you end up taking her like to the doctor or anything like that to be checked, or was it just, oh, we had her, she's fine, and we're good?
Well, I have a baby scale, so she hasn't been to the doctor just yet for anything, and that's just my prerogative. This is, hey, everybody's entitled to do their own thing with their children, and I do what I feel is best for mine. She has been healthily gaining weight every week. I make sure that I weigh her, even though I don't have to. It's probably excessive, but I weigh her every Friday to make sure that she's gaining, and each and every week she is definitely gaining. We don't have a problem with gaining. Her reflexes are good and things of that nature. So, nope.
Well, that's good. I was just wondering because with COVID, I
don't know if I really want to take her.
Yeah.
With COVID, it's just like too much going on, and you don't want to really have her out anyway. And they have the virtual things, and I'm thinking my thought process on taking the baby to the doctor virtually is the same thing I'm going to do at home. So what's the point, right?
Right.
Save the money for doctor bills and things of that nature. I'll weigh her, I'll measure her, and if it's something really serious that comes up, then that's when I'll do what I'm supposed to do and take her to the doctor.
Right. Okay. So she's gaining. She's looking good. Everything's good. And you're feeling great.
Yes.
Everything has healed. And you're just, doing good. So that's great. Did you have any issues as far as like postpartum blues or feeling, any type of way?
I think a little bit, like probably within the first month, because I felt like I was just laying around. But that's probably what it was from, because I was doing what I needed to do for my other 5 kids, but everything else, like, I set to the back burner. Like my businesses, I literally put them to the side and said, no, I need to focus, because I need to focus on these 6. And that's my priority. And God would sustain me otherwise. So I did do that. But now that I'm back, I'm active, I feel a lot better than what I was doing, because I'm in my element almost. Like, I'm able to do everything. So.
Wow. That's really good. And your story is so beautiful. I'm so happy that you got that birthday you wanted.
Yes, I was determined. I was going to get it, and I didn't care who was going to tell me no. I don't like the word no, so that's probably what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I see that.
Look at her. Hey, Zala Bean.
Hi. Oh, she is so adorable. And I have not gotten to meet her in person yet because, we're trying to keep all of our germs away from babies.
Yeah.
But hopefully once things calm down, then I can get to come and visit. But thanks so much for sharing. And
You're welcome.
I'm so, so happy for you and so excited. And if you're thinking about having a home birth, or you want to maybe just talk to Brandi because you want a t-shirt or some desserts,
I got
where can they find
you. Well, I got you. They can definitely, if right now for my business, I'm merging everything together, so you gotta give me some time. But you can reach out to me on my personal Facebook, which is Brandi Oliver. I have the same red hair, so I'm in that. Or my Facebook page is the Sweet Room AZ, so you can find me there, and I'm pretty open to help you do anything that you need.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandi.
Oh,
Bye,
thank
everyone.
you. Say bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.